We are live.
Awesome.
Welcome to Berardi and Cook, the post-match analysis from the Ought to Know Better podcasts. I'm Smarty, and I'm joined by Gilly and Shannon. How are you guys?
Great after that.
Good, yeah. You've got your voices and fingernails still, have you?
Just about.
Neither.
Either. Tuned them off and lost your voice. Just like me. I think I've scared half at street away, to be honest. We were supposed to be joined by Simon. He may make an appearance at some point, but as yet he's eluded us. He's probably still running around in his underpants in his garden as well. So what do we make to that then, guys? Are we absolutely buzzing? Because I certainly am myself.
Go ahead. You go first.
Either. You go, Gilly.
It's not sunken. What we just watched, because it was so difficult after what happened with Cooper. It was so difficult to watch it. You know, I was setting this up.
Yeah.
This is our debut, by the way. Anybody wants?
Yeah. This is our first time. Apologies to anyone who may be thinking, "What the hell's going on here?"
So yeah, I was setting this up and you know, kind of keeping an eye on it and almost not wanting to watch. It was such a difficult watch.
Yeah.
And it's Stewie Dallas and the breakaway and pops it through legs, and it's just because you could see that their goal were coming. They were on top. It would attack and defend, and they were on top, and they had all the ball, all the possession. But we were so well drilled, really well drilled, because you could see that one man picked it up, Calvin stepped out, another man picked it up, Cox stepped out, another man picked it up, and it passed across our box, and out went Ayling. And you could see just how well they were drilled. You could see that they must have worked on, right, if we go down to 10 men, this is what we do. This is the plan. And you know, there's so often, and it was mentioned during the game, so often Bielsa he doesn't have a plan B. Because his take on things is, my plan B is we make plan A better. But when that's taken away from you by a decision as bad as that, and I'm not going to go into that one because you know, there's a lot of people that are saying it's not a bad decision and it should have been a red card. But
yeah, I think it looked worse when it was slowed down. But you know,
it really did. They all do.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Most tackles do. But yeah, from my perspective, I think it was a case of impending doom. It felt, you know, watching it, and then they scored, and you think, shit, can we hold on? But you know, another thing that was said during the game by the commentary team was, time must be really going slow for Leeds fans. And do you know what? It wasn't for me.
No.
You know, quite often you look at the clock and you think, oh, that must be 5 minutes gone and 30 seconds has gone in a game when you know you're up against it. It didn't feel that way to me. And I don't know if that's subconsciously it were a bit more positive than maybe I thought it was, but it was a really tough watch. And then Dallas on the breakaway goes and does that, and you think, well, that's just Leeds all over. You just absolutely no idea what's going to happen.
No, you've got to be careful though. Like I said, we are very good at breaking, aren't we? And Alioski, you know, to be sent on his way and that lovely little ball through for Stewie Dallas and then to stick it through Edison's legs were just absolutely sublime. But yeah, you're right. I think when I was watching it, not at any point where I'm thinking, oh Christ, you know, how many goals are they going to score now or whatever. I always thought, oh no, we're actually managing this all right. We seem to be doing really well. I wasn't afraid about any sort of set pieces or anything. We seem to be doing a lot better than that. But Shannon, obviously, massive display. Any sort of, apart from the red card or anything, any sort of standout moments for you?
I mean, we had some really good chances, like throughout the match. I mean, at the start, we had Bamford had a chance at was it like the 20th minute for that goal? And I can't remember who kicked. Was it off Raf? Can't remember.
Roberts set him. I think there were a couple, weren't there, that were behind him. I think Robertson, Rafinha. Yeah, I think.
I know Costa had chance for some good runs. He wasn't fast enough to get them through. But I mean, I think we needed that goal in the first half to really pick up the confidence for the team. I mean, I think you can see it throughout like every game that Leeds play. As soon as they get a goal in, it's just like they hype themselves and they really play into it. And I think it was definitely a good job that we got that first goal in when we did, because I think we definitely needed it for the second half.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, phenomenal. I mean, you can't top that last goal from Dallas. I mean, incredible, straight through the goalkeeper's legs. Insane.
I couldn't believe that.
I thought it was over. I really did think it was over going into those last few minutes. And then I just looked up at the TV. I was like, what?
It's one of the things, isn't it? Like, you're hanging on and you're thinking, oh, Christ, we've done really well to keep him out. We've done well to just, only concede one goal. Meslier obviously making some great saves. That one that he had, were kind of a double save against Sterling when Sterling stamped on his bloody hand, the little shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was unreal. But then when obviously Stewie Dallas went and stuck that one through his legs, like that was unreal.
Yeah.
But a bit of an echo to the semi-final against Derby. But so man of the match then, because there's been a few questions. Obviously, the poll's been out, and a majority have gone with Stuart Dallas. But if you had to pick anyone apart from Dallas, guys, who are we going with? Gilly?
Apart from Dallas, he kind of took the wind out of my sails then.
There's not many. I mean, you couldn't be wrong in with any player that you pick, really.
No, that's fair. Yeah. Weirdly, I don't think Meslier had all that much to do. So while I don't think he did anything wrong in the game, I'm looking at Llorente, I'm looking at Calvin. Rafinha, it was a strange one in the first half, and it was after another Sterling incident where Sterling went through on his ankle, there were a corner that he took where I think it bounced before it got to front man, and there were a free kick that he took that he didn't get any height on either, and he handed the corner to Calvin, and but actually it was absolutely immense. It was immense in the second half. The ball got played into him. There were a few times, there were one in central midfield where he had three men around him, one touch, two touch, three touch away and fouled. It was through. For me, I think Fernandinho was lucky not to get sent off.
Yeah,
it looked to me like he was denying it, and you could argue it differently, but it looked to me like he was denying a goal scoring opportunity, and it was a cynical foul, and it hurt him. So Rafinha played really well. I think I'd probably, if you take Stewie Dallas out of the equation, I think I'd probably go KP.
Yeah. I totally agree with that one. Shannon, who's your pick of the rest?
I agree. I mean, it would be for me. It was if we take Dallas out of the equation, it's between Philip and Llorente. I think obviously with the second half being so defensive for us, I think they played a huge role. And even in the first half, Llorente was defending. He got up there and he's not afraid to get stuck in. So he did. So he did do us. He played well for us. I think it's between them. But if I had to pick, you know what? I'll go Llorente for this match. Yeah.
That's fair.
We have had a question.
Stamps. Well, I've already said he's a dirty bastard. So, what are your guys' opinions?
Definitely.
The goalkeeper. Do you know what? I didn't think the keeper one was. It was quick. And again, I think that is one where when you said about the Cooper when you slow it down, it looks bad. I think the Sterling one on Meslier, I think that looked worse than maybe it actually was. I think it were a little bit cynical, but it wasn't that bad. But the one on Rafinha was terrible. It was awful. That's an ankle snapper.
He probably took him out, didn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, stamps, should I say? Yeah. But the Fernandinho one on Raf as well. That were pretty, like you were saying. That was a bit of a shocker. That probably proper checked him, didn't it? What do we think to Cooper's red card then? Because
you go first.
I see. Yeah. It's one of those, isn't it? Like I think it was harsh, but also when you do slow it down, I think it looks worse than what it was. But I can't make a call on that one. I don't think it was. But at the same time, I'm sat with my friends, and they're all, looking not from a Leeds perspective, because I feel like I've got a bit of bias in me when I obviously look at things like red cards, yellow cards, all that, and they agreed with the ref. So I don't know really.
When, like you say, when you slow it down, the impact part of it is probably looks really, really bad. But if you actually, obviously, a few frames beforehand, when Cooper gets to the ball, I mean, he probably doesn't have to slide in, but that's one of Liam's sort of trademarks in it, going and crunch with a crunching tackle.
Yeah,
probably would have been easy enough to kind of stay on his feet, but he actually got the ball. What's Luke saying? Andrew Mariner made it today harder, which made that victory even sweeter. Yeah, obviously, the 12th man for City, their man of the match, wasn't he? But Gilly, what are your thoughts on the red, mate?
I think for me, you're in a situation. There's already been arguments on Twitter about it either way. I think got the ball kind of doesn't have the gravitas or impetus as a statement these days that he used to have. It almost was, especially like 80s, early 90s. It was a case of if you got the ball, you could just about do whatever you wanted after that. If you catch the man, so what? I got the ball. We don't live in that world anymore, but we do live in a world where if you maintain control, you're in a position where if you've got the ball before you've got the man, which is it's still an important point. You've got to get the ball before you get the man, because otherwise that is a foul. You get the ball before you get the man, and then you're in a position where you're in control and you make contact. That doesn't mean it's a foul because it's not a non-contact sport. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm just bringing Mr. Johnson into the.
I was just saying. He said he was. He said, "Here we go." Simon, how are we doing, mate?
Hello, guys. Apologies. Few technical issues.
Welcome to the live show.
We are live. No swearing,
we are
please.
live. Don't say shit or bugger. What were your thoughts on the game, mate? We'll try and catch you. We'll try and get you to catch up with us. Give us your initial thoughts on the game.
Obviously, very pleasing. It's obviously going to be a difficult game go to Man City, but the manner in which we got that result, being down to 10 men for more than half the game, it's just testament to the manager, the coaching staff, and the group of players he's got there. It's just an outrageous result that I don't think anybody saw coming, really.
No. Well, a couple of us called it in our predictions, didn't we?
Do you know
one or two. There were one or two that backed against the shithouser.
So in terms of the Cooper decision, then, so for me, I think if you're not out of control, he didn't go in 2-footed. He's still got 1 foot planted on the ground when he makes contact with the ball, which means it's not a 2-footed challenge. He catches him. And that's not what you don't want to see people getting hurt. And he could have hurt him because he catches him at his knee, but he has got the ball. He's not out of control, and therefore you could argue that it's a bucket. And I didn't think it was a booking. I didn't think it was a free kick, to be honest.
No.
To then be reviewed, and you're absolutely right with what you said. Is that slowed down replay of it from that one angle. And actually, that's what Mariner saw when he arrived at the camera.
The other angle from the other side, from where he obviously goes into him, slowed down.
So for me, I think it's a position where he's made a decision, and then he's overturned that decision and made that decision worse on a view of one replay, and that's the worst replay that we saw, and it was really slowed down. But he's not spent any time there, so you can't be in a position. VAR, as we know from the off the VAR recordings that we do, so we're in a position that Jimmy's explained to us where we understand that VAR can't make a decision. It's the referee's decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if the ref makes a decision and then the VAR official tells him to go and have a look, it's in his mind, well, they've seen something I haven't there.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, as I go across here, am I going to change my decision? He's already in a mindset of, well, I must have missed something. Otherwise, I won't be telling to go look. So I think from my perspective, it's one of those, and it is tough, but it's one of those where he has got the ball, he has took the man, but for me, it's not a red card. It shouldn't have been a red card. But that's my view, and other people see it differently.
You probably would have accepted a yellow because of the impact that he had on Jesus, wasn't it? Like I say, slow down and all that sort of stuff. You can probably see there would be an argument for yellow, but I couldn't believe it were a red card. Absolutely, couldn't believe. Luke's just commented that's very valued. Would that have been a red in your days, Simon? Not going back too far, though, are we, Si?
In your day.
In your days.
Yeah. Would they give him the age away? Look, definitely not. It definitely would have been a red back then, but the game's evolved since 3 years ago. No, I mean, for me, looking at it, you guys know my thoughts on Cooper. I think he's been unreal for us this season. But I think what he's done is by making that challenge is gave them a decision to make, and that ultimately that could have been avoided. And it goes back to if you're having to make a sliding tackle like that, you've already made a mistake. Some part of your game, you've made a mistake already, and for me, it's something. Don't give them the opportunity, especially with VAR now. Just don't give them the opportunity. I think. If he stands his ground and just stays on his feet, he probably don't get to the ball first. But we keep our 11 men on the pitch and put ourselves in a better position. Obviously, hindsight. But for me, I think it was looking back at it. I know slow mo sort of gives you a different perspective on it, but for me. If that challenge was on a Leeds player, I would have been looking for a red card for sure.
Yeah. But it is what it is. We've had to live with these sort of decisions, don't we? And it won't be the first. It certainly won't be the bloody last.
Sure.
So, we have discussed this briefly. Apart from maybe Llorente and a couple of others, who would your standout performance be from our lads? There's quite a few to choose from. Simon, sorry.
I love Ayling. I just think he's been amazing this season. It's really hard to pick out of that group of players today, especially when you go down to 10 men. Look, I've been in that situation myself, and it's soul destroying at times, especially against Man City. And I'm a sitter on the fence. So for me, it's really difficult to single out anybody from that game today.
Yeah, absolutely. Comment from Jay. I don't think any other manager could have gone there and done that today with 10 men. These Villa fans who think Dean Smith is even in the same ballpark as Bielsa can. F right off. Well, you're probably right, actually. To go there and get a result against City with 11 men, even though obviously playing against them and the way they play often feels like 12. I can only imagine what it's like to play against a team like City. But to do it with 10 men is another absolute gold star. But does that give us confidence going into the next few games then? If we can go beat, Man City with 10 guys, sit in, defend really well and counter them, what does it say about our next games? Shannon?
Well, we've got Liverpool next.
Forward.
Liverpool next, haven't we?
Yeah.
At home. So I don't know if we looking back at. The last time we played Liverpool, obviously, I think they were in a better position than what they are now. I think personally, I think it's looking quite good on our end. After today's match, I think it's got that confidence behind us. I think it really will, give the lads a boost and make them want to push further for that game. So I think personally, I think it's looking good on our end. Yeah.
I think it's certainly going to give the lads, like you say, a load of confidence going there. I think is that three match ban for Cooper now. That is it. When it's a straight red, isn't it?
I think it will be. Yeah.
3 match ban, so we lose him for three games, which isn't ideal because he's been our most probably consistent CB as Cooper, hasn't he? Who comes and takes his place, Gilly? Who's going to slide in there alongside Llorente?
Do you know? Well, it's interesting that it was Strike that came on and not cocking it.
Yeah.
That surprised me because I expected that it would have been the more senior and the more experienced. So that would have been my answer. But now that kind of puts that into question because it was Stroik that came on and not Cock. And I would have said it would be Llorente and Cock that would start. I've spoken on podcast previously. I rate Cooper. I think he's a really good player, and I think he's had a really good season. But looking to the future, I think Llorente and Cock are probably going to be our first choice centre backs if everybody's fit, everybody's up to speed, everybody's match ready. I think it's probably those two. Yeah. But that kind of puts that into question, the fact that it was Stroik that came on.
Yeah, absolutely. A good shout for either. It was interesting to see in bringing Cock on, as well as Stroik, and obviously having Llorente on as well, and then having Calvin moving around the field. Is that really the first time we've seen a proper plan B come into fruition where Bielsa has accepted that he will have to sit back and defend? But he did it so convincingly. It was I thought it was fantastic to see that we weren't so attack-minded and we sat in and defended. Do you think it's something we'll be able to probably adapt and use further in future, Si?
Definitely. If I'm being totally honest, I don't think it's something that he likes doing, but I think he was sort of forced into that today. But for me, it just showed what they are actually capable of when they do transition from being attacking to being a little bit more defensive. They're more than capable of doing that. And when you're playing away at your Cities and your Liverpools and places like that, it's something that you have to do, and you just have to accept that these teams have good players. They're going to have good possession, and so it's just frustrating them at times. And I'm almost hopeful a little bit that what they've actually achieved today will just sort of set an alarm bell off for them and say, do you know what, we should sort of adapt this tactic for in the future because it really does work, you know.
Yeah, we've got Thomas Burns let me in. Is he the guy that was supposed to be joining us? No, he's not. I don't know who this guy is.
I don't either.
Is he one of Luke's mates, is he?
I'm not sure, but he's not waiting to come in.
He's not waiting to come in. You're not coming in. Bugger off. So, yeah, Liverpool are currently 1-1 with Villa at the minute. Who's confident that we'll go and get a result from them? I mean, to be honest, if I had to trade or if I had to guess or settle for any points, I'd happily lose against Liverpool and then go and beat the scum. But, you know, what's people's thoughts on the next couple of games, really? You know, how many points do we expect to get from Liverpool and well, obviously the scum? I'm going to go around each of you, actually, because I'm guessing there might be a conflict of interest here. Gilly, do you want to start off?
So I
based on that performance, sure, sir.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of going to echo what Shannon just said. In as much as Liverpool aren't as strong as they were at the start of the season, you know, they don't have great form. They don't have the worldie of a centre back that they had first game of the season, and we've just come off the back of beating City at their own place.
That's exactly
having won 27 out of 28 games going into it with 10 men. What is that?
I wonder what the odds were for that.
God knows.
Probably, yeah.
God knows. But you know, we're in a position where we've got no one. If you can do that against City, we've literally got no one to fear.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't play with fear anyway, but we can literally get a result against anybody if we can do that against City.
That's it, yeah. I mean, there'll be lessons learned from, obviously, Man United as well. It's the way they seem to steamroll us.
Oh.
Man U.
You didn't call them United this time, did you?
I said Man United. I'm not doing that again. I'm not having that. But yeah, to go through, you know, in the next couple of games, bags full of confidence and all that sort of stuff. We're going to be missing Cooper, but like you said, based on Struijk and Cox's performances recently, you know, I don't think we've got to worry about really with having Cooper missing. I'm struggling to think of anything else to talk about apart from the fact I'm absolutely buzzing. I don't know if you guys have got any more comment.
We can quickly cover the predictions, but equally, you know, we've got some watchers along that can ask questions if
about to say things. We've just seen any comments. We haven't got any questions. If you guys have got any questions, those that are you watching, you know, fire them over. We'll do our best to answer them. But yeah, let's have a look at predictions then. Let's start off with the people who backed against
Yeah. So
name and shame them. have we got one in here actually?
Yeah, I did.
So yeah, we're in a position. So if I just run my eyes down them. So Jason, our friend Rex went 4-1 City. We had Becky went 3-1 City. We had Mad Adam went 2-0 City, and we had Shannon went 4-2 City. So you got the 2 right.
Yeah.
You still get -5.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I honestly, I just never know. Like I don't expect. Didn't expect us to be picking up points in this match. I really didn't. Just under the circumstances, but that's Leeds all over, isn't it? To come back and take away the points, it's absolutely just typical of Leeds to do that. And you know, I can't explain it. I mean, even everyone that I asked, they honestly really thought this was going to be a City win, and Leeds have just come out and proved they can do it. So. I mean, what else? What more can you ask for? I mean, I'll take the loss on the prediction there.
Typically, you'd be right. You know, anyone would back against really. You know, fair enough. But with obviously City playing in Champions League and obviously being literally surrounded by fixtures and stuff, they're going to be focusing on Champions League. They're not going to be obviously giving a shit about the Premier League. They've still got it to win. But I always really, I mean, I said it on pod on last week. I really fancied his chances against this lot because I know that obviously based on the last performance, it will 1-1 won it. You know, there's no reason why we couldn't have gone and got a result.
Well done. You went back and made sure you got that one right.
Yeah, I think I said 0-0. It was still a draw. I got the result right.
So yeah, just to we focused on the negatives from the predictions. So Carl, myself, Mez, and Si all went with a draw. But Bren and yourself, Smarty, got 3 points for getting the score difference right, and Emily Render got a full 5 points.
Well done to her.
Accuracy.
Got it bang on.
Well done to her. Right, we've had some questions in now, so
yeah,
I'm
I was just going to say,
pop them up so you guys can talk about. Yeah.
Do you think Bamford was a right sub to make? I'm just going to start. I'll list some questions or whatever, and I'll start directing them to you guys. I'll go to you, Si. Bamford, right sub to make?
Hindsight, obviously, yes. I didn't think so at the time. But I understand why he made that decision. Look, Bamford's played a lot of minutes. He played a lot of football this season, so I think being down to 10 men, he probably went for what he felt would be the fresher legs, and be able to sort of sustain the energy levels, you know. So, look, Bielsa, he's no mug. He knows exactly what he's doing, and who am I to say no, that was the wrong sub, you know.
No, fair play, mate. Brett Carr, how did this rate against the best ever Leeds games you've ever seen? Ooh, Shannon.
Where do I start with that? I mean,
hell of a question. I like that one.
There, right?
I mean, you've all probably watched more Leeds.
You're going to talk. You say we're old, aren't you?
Yeah.
You guys are older than me. You've seen more.
21. I mean.
All right, giving it over the last few years, then, where does that rate?
I mean, obviously, as a game, I mean, obviously, you got to take out the fact that no fans or anything, and that in the actual, you know, I don't know. I honestly couldn't put it a rate. I don't know. I can't off the top of my head.
No,
I'll have to pass that one over to someone.
Well, I'll let Gilly answer that one then. I'll let Gilly take that one. Whereabouts is that rate for you, mate, in the best games you've seen?
It's up. If I reflect on my response to Dallas's goal going in, I think that's probably maybe a yardstick. It for me was equivalent to Pablo's goal. My reaction to it, because I mean Pablo's goal for me was when I really felt we've done this. Swansea, I mean. That one. That Pablo goal.
That goal.
Yeah. But in terms of games, I cast my mind back to I don't know if you remember. I think you're going to have to fact check me on this. It might have been 2004, 2005. We played a game against Southampton. I think we were 3-0 down. And we ended up, I think, in a 20-minute period, we scored 4 and we won the game 4-3.
Yeah.
When you're 3-0 down, I mean, all right, it was Southampton and it wasn't Man City that had looking like world beaters and winning 27 out of 28 games. But we were 3-0 down. So at that point, you kind of think the game's done and dusted. But when we concede against Man City, we're down to 10 men, and they have won that many games in the last 28 games. And you're thinking, well, is that it? Have we lost the opportunity that we had here? And then Dallas goes and does that, and that's the response to it. It's right up there. It is up there. I remember Dida spooning ball into goal with torrential rain pouring down, and after Boyer's just had what you'd expect a decent keeper in Champions League to mop up any time. It's there. It's up there.
Yeah, it's got to be up there. It's fantastic. Brett's gone further to say not quite as good as beating Man U in the Cup a few years ago. Well, yeah, we like to sing about that a little bit, don't we? Apart from that, nothing beats it for me. Yeah, fair point, mate. Jay's got a question. What did everyone think of the lineup before the game? Anyone surprised / annoyed? Where do you start with that one? He doesn't like to alternate his teams, does he, Shannon? It's same old Bielsa, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, pretty as much as I expected. Obviously, without Harrison not being able to play, obviously with the loan. So, it's what I expected. I wasn't really surprised or taken back by anyone that he chose for the game. I think it was the right lineup for the right game. Absolutely, I don't think I would have changed.
No, yeah,
particularly.
Yeah, it's a funny one. That I mean, we expect, for God's sake, he used to be able to tell us what his teams were before. He seems to have knocked that on the head a little bit now. But yeah, you don't really get many changes unless there's like injuries, or in this case, if Harrison's had to duck out because of obviously being a parent club. But obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing Dallas. Although I did think Costa did all right, actually. Thomas Burns says, do you believe the team themselves saw the second half as a position to prove they could cling to defending half of football? Simon, do you want to take that one?
Sorry, I was just having
kind of an opportunity.
You've got to read out here, but it's like frigging away.
I think he's asking, did the team see it as an opportunity to prove that they could do it, I think.
Yeah, basically prove to everyone that they could defend against a decent setup.
Do you know what? Not necessarily. I just think your mindset automatically has to change. Because...
Well, you, Gilly?
No, somebody got a motorbike going past.
That's a car.
It's from mine. I'm on the main road.
I just think your mindset automatically has to change. And you're gonna. I mean, you're gonna be doing more defending than attacking anyway against City. But I think once you go down to 10 men, it's just a case of getting men behind the ball as quickly as you can and try to hit them on the counter, which is exactly what they've done. So I don't believe they're seeing it as an opportunity. I just think it's sort of just what happens what happens naturally when you go down to 10 men.
Yeah, no, that's fair, mate. But like I said, but Bielsa said that after the game, we don't train for defensive situations like today, so nothing happened was anything to do with him. What a guy. Well, when you see Bielsa screaming his bloody lungs out outside at pitch, I kind of think it might have had a little bit to do with him, but where do you start with that? We're attacking the team out where we've been absolutely dire in defence all season, and then to go and do that, it's got to be. And obviously we're introducing more defenders as well, so I don't think it was necessarily all on the players. Bielsa must have had something to do with that, definitely. But what else have we got? Where else can we go? Everyone, go to Thomas Burns again. Everyone was asking how many points could we take from the next 4 fixtures. That were for your answers. What were your answers? Really? I think we did.
I don't think any of us actually. We did, but when we were talking about it, we were talking about we probably don't think we're going to get anything against City, and we'd trade away the points anyway if we could guarantee to beat the Scum.
Yeah.
I think that tended to be the. Do you know, a lot of that will be kind of affected by the fact that we'd already taken a point off City, and you know the way that the Scum game went earlier in the season, we need to have a reaction about that. But you know, so for me, I think I might have said 4 points out of the 3 games, and now I'm looking for 7.
Yeah,
and that might be greedy, but I'm looking for 7 now.
Yeah, I think I said 5. I think I went 2 draws and a win. I were hoping to get a win against the Scum, to be honest. And I'd have taken a draw against City and Liverpool because I believe that's still very much achievable. Simon, what do you think of the next few games? What points? What are you going for?
It's a tough one because I believe we can win and lose against any team in the division. I think we'll pick a minimum point up against Liverpool. I don't think they're any great shakes this season, and I think they'll actually be fearing playing Leeds. If I'm being honest, I don't think they'll be looking forward to that fixture. Scum game's going to be difficult, but I would be happy with 2 draws from those fixtures. 100%, I'll be happy with 2 draws, and then see how we can kick on from there.
Yeah. I'd take a draw against Liverpool. I think we could do this to death. As long as we beat the Scum, I don't give a shit. I'll lose all the rest of the games in the season for me. I don't give a toss.
I hate Liverpool as well, though. I hate Liverpool.
Well, yeah.
The postcode, they screwed us over at Kuhl deal. They took our Champions League spot. Fuck them.
I bet Shannon, living with Liverpool fans, I bet it'd be an interesting one for you if we managed to turn them over, won't it?
Yeah, if we can win, I'm gonna be in a very awkward position. Yeah, there's me and 3 lads, and all 3 of the lads are Liverpool fans, so the room gets really awkward when Liverpool don't win. It gets very hostile. So being against them, I think we could steal it, but I'd be happy with a draw. Very happy with a draw. So I mean, I'll take that. And against Scum, I'd take a draw, but a win would be fantastic, you know. So, yeah.
I'd take a win against Scummers. Oh, especially after
the last game, you want it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But like, we're looking at Villa and Liverpool match now. It's 1-1. We absolutely, dicked Villa. There's no reason why we can't go and get a bloody good result against Liverpool. They certainly are firing on all cylinders anyway. Mike P, the Scum game means more to us than the players. Luke's followed that up by saying, tell that to KP then, Mike. That's true. I think the players are very, very much aware of what it means to us to obviously get one over on them lot. I mean, obviously you weren't a Leeds lad, Simon, but that sort of game, when obviously you were playing for the club back then, obviously the players are aware of what this sort of fixture means to Leeds fans and the club itself.
Yeah, massively. I mean, obviously, like Shannon said earlier, it's without the crowd there, you probably don't get pumped as much as you perhaps would have with the Leeds faithful in the ground. But yeah, I mean, as a player, they're professional people, and regardless of what the fixture is, they want to go out there and do whatever it takes to win. But for some reason, you do. For fixtures like that, you do manage to find an extra couple of % from somewhere. I don't know how it happens, so don't ask me. But you do. Your energy levels are higher, and it's just something that happens that I can't explain. So the guys will be well aware of it, and considering what happened last game, I'm sure they'll be want to get redemption with that game coming up for sure.
Yeah, surely he'll be able to get some sort of you'll be able to feed off the crowd with obviously the game building up and that sort of stuff. It must obviously resonate with you guys. You must be able to hear it in changing rooms thinking, fucking hell, it's a big one, is this? You're going to get stuck into this lot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my first ever game that I went to at Ellen Road was against Man United when David Weatherall scored a header. And I've been to a lot of games before then, but I'd literally never heard an atmosphere like it. And for players not to be able to get up for an atmosphere like that, it's impossible. It's impossible. So yeah, it makes a huge difference when the fans are in, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You can feel it. I mean, obviously throughout the last couple of seasons and stuff like that, we've had some big games and stuff, and obviously what it meant to the club, you know, being in the position that we were and stuff. But the last couple of seasons, obviously before bloody COVID, you know, struck us, it were magical in the stands and stuff. You got a real buzz. There was just a big buzz around the club, buzzing in the stands and stuff, and it was just obviously it's just fantastic. And then again, the players fed off it. You know, you're looking like Click and stuff like that. You know, they're the ones who mainly feed off the crowd a little bit more than what we got here then, Gilly. What are you showing us, Gil?
Showing you the league table. Where we're in the top half.
I can't bloody see. Oh, we're back to 10. That's a bloody good. I tell you what. I mean, I would always saying, you know, mid table. I never said bottom. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, I'll take 17th." No, fuck off. Not the way we play.
I would have taken 17th at start of the season without a doubt. 100%.
I want it done.
So you hope that you're going to do better than that. But yeah, I would have taken it. If you could have guaranteed Premier League at the start of the season, I would have snapped your hand off.
Yeah. I were always a bit more optimistic. I mean, I want one of these idiots that was saying, "Oh yeah, we'll be challenging for Europe," because I don't know what they were chuffing sniffing, but it certainly wasn't.
But you say that, but we're 6 points off Chelsea in fifth.
We say that now. It might be different in a few games, might it? Let's be honest. Luke's calling me Jimmy Neutron again. It's big from a Sean Dyche lookalike, isn't it? I suppose. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. I think that's all we've got time for. We've got no more questions coming in, so we're going to end it here. But thanks very much for joining me, guys. It's been appreciated. Thanks everyone who's liked and commented, and if you can subscribe to our channels and all the rest of our stuff, that would be fantastic. That's all from us. Thank you for joining us on our. What's it cost you? Would you Neutron? He's a tosser in here. Just wait until you're on one of these. I'm going to give you some right shit. But anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Nice one. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for all your questions and stuff. And nice one, Smarty. Well done, guys.
Cheers, lads and lasses.
Yes.
See you later.
Bye.